Today is Friday, May 13th, Friday the 13th, 2016. This is Tom Dillon, the Lifetime Liberal, and today's rant will be on Dr. Paul Krugman's article on the New York Times, Trump and Taxes, or as I would like to say, Trump, Taxes, and the Deceiver in Chief. As Trump is going all out to deceive the American people. Now, two things in reference to Trump this week. He basically said he's not going to release his personal taxes. He chided Mitt Romney in 2012 for not releasing his. And I think that every president in the modern era, let's just say back to 1980, have released their taxes. He claims he has not. We'll talk about that in a second. And also, he came out with some tax. He brought in or said that he was going to have a number of people advising him on his tax policies, which are basically tax cuts to the billionaires and multimillionaires, which is no different than what the Republicans had done all along. But let's take his own personal taxes first off. Now, the reason why everyone is saying that Donald Trump is not releasing his taxes, regardless of what he's saying, is that he's being audited. Of course, he's being audited. Then you would think that that would be a good thing for him. It's time to release his taxes, because it would be a fair assessment as to what his value and what his worth really is, and that he can't claim that if he releases his taxes, it'll trigger an audit because he's already being audited. But the big thing is that everyone truly suspects that he's not nearly as close to being as wealthy as he claims to be. One of those reasons is that he really doesn't own anything anymore. You know, he licenses his name, and other people own Trump buildings. He just gets a licensing fee to have the Trump name, and they make it kind of swanky, so the Trump name has a certain amount of value. And of course, he has been in bankruptcy 4 times for his businesses, which failed. And the only time he ever released his tax returns, I believe, was when he actually tried to get a casino license. And he had to do that because he had to prove his worth, so to speak, in that regard. He was sued one time, I believe it was in the 2005 to 2007 era, and in reference to his value. And it was they made the settlement with the guy. Nothing can be released. He can't talk about it. And the great suspicion is that it was proved that Trump doesn't own nearly as much as he said. Now, sometimes when I think about things, did I really think about them before I heard someone say something and that really triggered, yes, that makes exactly sense? Or did I just hear what that person had to say and then said, yeah, that's it? My suspicion is that I was very much questioning why Donald Trump was having his own reality TV show if he's a multi-billionaire, in the sense that if you're running that many businesses and you're making that kind of money, you don't need the stinking little amount of money that you're making from a TV show. And I don't know how much he made on the TV show, $200,000 an episode, $400,000, I don't know, more money than I would make in a couple of years. But if you're a multi-billionaire, you're making 10, 20 times that kind of money in a week, and you don't need a TV show like that. Now, of course, big ego, narcissist, all that other stuff. But Lawrence O'Donnell points out is that, just the fact that he had that TV show and kept that TV show year after year, bragged about that TV show, is a clear indicator that he needed that money. And that his businesses aren't worth that kind of the amount that he claims that they are, because if they were worth that much, he wouldn't need a little stinking TV show to do it. And the big thing about the whole thing, he doesn't own the rights to the show. So if the show left and they got some other one else to lead the show, he wouldn't get any residual money from that show. He just gets the money as this, let's just say, the lead star on the show. So I'm very convinced that Trump doesn't have nearly the money that he has. Now, let's get into his tax policy. When he was running for the Republican nomination, he, like every other Republican, had their race to the bottom and how much they could decrease taxes and kowtow to the rich. And, of course, his was probably greater than everyone else's. That would cost over $10 trillion over the course of 10 years. So he had a race to the bottom. He won the race to the bottom. He's now the nominee. Now remember, when everyone saw him coming up first, they thought he was a joke. Huffington Post basically said, we're going to put him in the entertainment section because no one thought he could come along. And of course, the Republicans weren't doing their oppo research because they wanted to play nice to him for a little bit, knowing that he would crash and burn real soon. So they didn't do much of their opposition research. Expect Hillary Clinton and the Democrats and all of the PACs associated with him. They've done their oppo research. They will define him. They will define him very quickly as being just a scam artist, a snake oil salesman, a shaman, so to speak. And on his PAC's policies that he's advocating, he had to do something now that he's the nominee. He referenced two people who are going to be advising his campaign. I'll just talk about one of them. The big one is Larry Kudlow. The other one is a guy named Stephen Moore. We'll concentrate on Larry Kudlow. I've watched him on CNBC many times. I've listened to his radio show. Big supply sider, big advocate of the invisible hand of the market, that the market can absolutely do no wrong. Sat there on many occasions and talked about how the possible downturn of the economy based on the outrageous housing boom bubble, specifically going on in Naples, Florida, and Las Vegas in the 2007 era, that there was nothing to worry about that whatsoever. It wouldn't affect anything whatsoever in the overall market. And of course, we know that the housing bubble in Florida, Arizona, California, Nevada took us, or helped, it was many things that helped take us into a huge recession in the 2008 and 2009 thing. Larry Kudlow has been consistently wrong in advocating that we're going to have a huge increase in interest rates, that we're going to have a huge increase in, what's the other thing? Interest rates and inflation. He's been wrong about that for about the past 10 years. And the question is why is Trump picking someone like that, Stephen Moore, who's been consistently wrong on a lot of other things? Why is he picking these people? Well, they're on the air a lot. They talk a lot. They sound good. Their economics sounds good. They're very convinced of the position they are. And again, what does this say about Trump? That he watches someone on TV, that he likes what they have to say, that's pretty much in line with his, so he's going to have them as his economic advisors, which tells me one thing, that at this point in time, the Republican establishment, not that they, if they are going to want to have him to be elected, they need to get people around him who basically, are credible Republicans, not someone like Larry Kudlow. So they haven't gotten close to Trump on this yet. They haven't been able to say, hey, you really want to win, you need to have somebody around you, with some type of credibility, because he's not picking anyone who is any credible at all. And, they aren't even competent. They just sit there and spout out their stuff on TV, and it sounds good, but in reality, nothing like that is going on. So the big question is if he is that careless in picking his economic advisors, where is he really on his taxes? What is he really hiding? And can it be exposed enough in the upcoming general election to prove what a farce this guy is?